Jay, thank you for coming in. Let's just start with the news of the week. Obviously James Fishback is going to remain on the ballot. You had sued to get him off. Your reaction to the judge's decision?
Well, first off, respect the court's authority, right? You have to do that. We are a law-abiding state. And while I don't agree with it, I respect his decision, though I think what he's done is essentially make home is where the heart is, the legal approach to residency. It's not good enough.
I think the part of the thinking of your lawsuit, and tell me if I'm wrong, is one, you felt that he wasn't qualified to run, but two, if you also removed him, had one fewer candidate, it could help you in terms of coming up in the polls against who everyone sort of acknowledges as the front runner is Byron Donalds. Where do you see the state of the race right now?
So actually, let's address that just a little bit. This is about election integrity. We have to be a state of laws and rules, and we have to follow through with those. And when I saw something that I saw was pretty clear, pretty fact-driven, and though I disagree again with the judge's ruling, I thought it was very, very clear that he was not qualified to be on the ballot. And stepping forward and making sure we fight for that for the people matters. As to the state of the race, Byron Donalds, stuck at 37%. That's where he's been for a very long time. Put differently, 25 to 40% of the people have had 18 months to choose Byron and said no. I am polling in the mid-20s. That was about a month ago. We'll have new people in the field now. We'll see where the numbers are at. But what I love to see is when I go out in the community, people don't want a talking head. They don't want a Fox News correspondent. They want a leader. Someone who's on the ground, talking to the people, making a difference. It is a two-person race in the primary. It's Byron and I, and we're going to fight all the way to the finish to help lead our state, make a difference at the dinner table, not the boardroom table, and protect our people and way of life.
Look, obviously, there are other polls that are out there. You're talking about your own internal polls. There are other polls out there that show Byron much further ahead. But let's assume that your polling is correct, that it is a fairly narrowing race.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't the governor's endorsement of you be pivotal in this moment? Why hasn't the governor endorsed you?
Well, first off, the governor is the most consequential politician in Florida. I respect him. I'm his lieutenant governor, and I stand beside him in every single thing we do. In this race, I'm still the only person who he has not said no to. I'm still the only person who he handpicked to be the number 2 person in the state of Florida, and ultimately, that matters more than you could ever imagine because people are looking for somebody different. They love Trump. They love DeSantis. They do not love Byron. And they want to know who else is on the ticket. I've been in politics for 4 years. That's it. And in that time, I've gone from running a nonprofit to being a state senator to being a lieutenant governor to running for governor. People want real leaders.
But again, you and I both know that maybe he hasn't said no to you outright explicitly, but the fact that he has not endorsed you is seen by a lot of people as a negative, that there must be something in terms of your relationship to the governor that is holding him back from endorsing you. Otherwise, he would have by now.
Well, I don't think it's about our relationship. He and I are fine. We talk on policy.
Are you? Because there's talk that you are not necessarily fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't listen to what the bureaucrats say or the people who are insiders. We're fine. We have no issues. He's the greatest governor in our state's history, and I have the opportunity to serve alongside him. What I will tell you is that I believe in where we came from. I believe in what we've done, and I am fighting every single day for the people of Florida. Politics is not an easy thing. If all men were angels, we wouldn't need government, right? But the truth is, man, I'm still fighting every day for the people. Love our governor, stand beside him on the issues, and look forward to, if he jumps in, him making a great decision. If he does not, I still have his back, and I know he has mine.
I won't belabor it, and I'll move on to some of the issues, but I do want to ask you this. Do you have a theory as to why he hasn't endorsed in this race?
Well, politics is not just a simple thing, is it? Nothing is ever just perfectly black and white in politics. There are so many pressure points. And I don't know everything that goes on in his world. I don't. But what I do know is he and I are good. We are focused on the same thing, the same vision, and that's leaving Florida better for the 23.5 million people that call this great state home and making sure that the next 8 years are the greatest 8 years moving forward.
Let's talk about the property tax amendment that's going to be on the ballot this November. Will you be voting for it?
I will be.
Tell me why.
Well, while it isn't the exact bill that we wanted, it is the most consequential tax relief in terms of homestead or property tax that we've seen really in our state's history. I think it's beneficial. It's money back in our people's pockets, and that's exactly why I'm going to support it.
And what's the impact on cities and counties?
Well, if you look at the math, 150,000 in the first year, 27, 250 in 28. I don't think it's quite as grave as what people are leading. Look at 2019 to now, 31 billion to 61 billion. We know that as a state, less than 30% of our property tax dollars come from homesteads. As is often the case, I don't think we have an income problem. We have a spending problem at the city and county level, and we've seen that with DOGE and FAFO. But now you have to take that next step, and you have to make sure that if there are misspending issues, we hold people accountable. And the last layer is this: no matter who the governor is, we are going to have to come to grips with the implementation of this if it passes, right? That means making sure that we protect our law enforcement, our fire, our roads and education. That is incredibly important.
But I'm not sure how you're able to do that if you're going to end up cutting. And this is when you talk about who's doing the running the numbers that you may or may not agree with. It's actually the state's revenue estimating conference has actually done the analysis and has found that it would end up costing taxpayers within 5 years, there'd be $13 billion or nearly $13 billion less in revenue. In talking to Jeff Brandes, former state senator, one of your former colleagues at the Florida Policy Project, he's anticipating that there are going to be police departments that are going to have to fold and be folded into county sheriff's departments. There are municipalities that will likely have to fold, that Broward County alone is projecting to lose between $300 and $400 million a year. There is cutting, and then there is radical cutting that will leave services blindsided. What is your response?
Well, my response is many of the people who are fighting back against this have a reason to keep it how it is. They don't want to lose money. They don't want to lose positions. They don't want to lose budget to spend where it goes. If you've seen it go from 31 to 61 billion since 2019, where did it go? It should be focused on education, law enforcement, fire, roads, sanitation, the things that are common to all. And if we haven't spent it on that, why haven't we spent it, and where did the money go? So what I'll tell you is, in today's world, we often look for sensationalism, right? What's the best way to say something that's inflammatory rather than facts? And what I can tell you is, if I'm elected the next governor, we're going to go city to city, county to county, and we're going to reconcile money, because I actually believe we can do more. And we're going to sit down and we're going to talk with our numbers, and we're going to talk with their numbers, and we're going to find a delta and a difference. And then we can agree to agree, or we can agree to disagree. But no matter what, I would love to move to a position where we can get more people taken care of and get more money back to the people. We have to remind people of two things, Jim. Our freedoms come from God. They're upheld by our Constitution. And number two, it's not the government's money, it's the people's money, and I want the people to keep more of it, and I'm going to continue to fight for that.
You understand that what is likely to happen is, if you take away local government and county government's ability to raise this money to be able to spend, that what they will do is, rather than bring it in from property taxes, they're just going to start charging fees.
I agree with you. That's why we've made those provisions in this. And the next governor, when they implement this, I will tell you, the one thing that I'm frustrated about with this bill is that we didn't put that trust fund, that grant process, on the back end of it. We have 29 fiscally constrained counties, 21 of which I think the math is really kind of concerning. That was put there to protect those 29 counties specifically. Look at Liberty County, 8,000 to 9,000 people in their county. I have a subdivision not far from my house that probably has 8,000 people in it, right? Living in the greater Tampa area. That's got to be worked. We put that there to help reset their roles.
So,
let me finish that real quick, Jim. Not a long-term subsidy, just to help reset those roles. That is something we're going to have to do on day one. I think that's a special session, if this passes, to make sure it happens. But then it's working with cities and counties. And you're right, some people are going to push back, and it's going to be alarmist. But in the end, I believe there is money there.
Well, why isn't the governor advocating for this? Because he's not. He's basically said that he's walking away now. Since they didn't go with his plan, which was to abolish all property taxes, including those for schools, because they didn't go with his, he's not going to campaign for it. I don't know anybody who's campaigning for it. So why do you think the governor has just completely abdicated on this issue?
Well, I think he's frustrated with the fact that the trust fund's not there, that we didn't protect law enforcement and fire, and we've put those people who we should stand beside at risk. Cities and counties are already trying to use that as a wedge issue.
So then you agree that if this passes, it puts police and fire at risk?
Well, that's where leadership comes in. And if elected the next governor, look, I think you can get this, you can land this, and we can absolutely protect our law enforcement and fire, but you're going to have to come forward, make a decision, and wade in. Man, being a leader doesn't mean everything is going to be easy. It's not going to be all roses, right?
Well, it's not just police and fire that are at risk. Florida hospital associations, a lot of communities tax for hospital associations to be able to provide health care. In Miami-Dade, we have something called the Children's Trust, which garners a certain amount of money from property taxes to be able to provide services for children. Those are both going to take substantial hits if this passes. What do you do for them?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have to sit down with their economists and we'll work through the actual numbers.
But shouldn't this have been done before? See, this is my
Jim.
problem. My problem is the governor put forward a plan. He had more than a year to craft it. He launched it on a special session, and legislators were asked to vote on it within 72 hours without these numbers from the Estimating Revenue Conference only came out more than a month after the legislature passed it. Isn't that the type of work that should have been done on the front end before you put it on the ballot, when you want to be able to tell voters what the impact is going to be, not trust us, we'll make it all right later?
Well, Jim, understand your point, well received, but what I'll tell you is this. The numbers came out when they did, and the fact is, I'm not talking about what happened, I'm talking about what I'm going to do as the next governor. We can get lost in what was, but I also know this, we have plenty of income. We have a spending problem as a state when it comes to property tax. We do spend an egregious amount of money on things that, frankly, don't make a lot of sense from county to county. And you know who, most importantly, really believes in this? The people. The 23.5 million people that call this state home, they want to see property tax relief. And the cities and counties do not want to grant that because they don't want to change. We have to do better. But here's my approach. I'm not throwing people under the bus. I'm not playing games. I'm telling folks, if you believe in this and you want to serve your people, let's come to the table, let's get this thing done, and let's sit there and craft this forward, and we'll get this thing done. We'll leave it better than we got it, and the numbers and the money are there. We just have to choose to make it work.
I think everyone wants property tax reform. I think there are serious issues. I'm not sure this proposal gets you to where you want to be. It may be better. Is it better to pass a bad plan now than a better plan a year from now?
So what I'll tell you is, look, if this fails, we're going to go back to the well. And my approach as governor would be to hit 67 counties. We're going to talk to people, and we're going to lay that math out. We can agree to agree to disagree, but either way, we're going to move forward.
I want to talk about data centers.
Oh, fun.
This has been an issue that I think a year ago, if you had asked the average voter about data centers, they would have had no idea what you were talking about. Now, I think it is coming front and center. Talk to me about your approach to this issue and where you think this is a key point between you and Byron Donalds, I believe.
Well, this is a key part of the race. And Jim, you're hitting it on the head, man. 6 months ago, this was not where it is today. This has come to a culminating time in our state, and people are very afraid. But there's a lot of misinformation, as is always the case, right? It's unfortunate. So you have three macro perspectives. You have the Byron approach, which is raise the racing flag and let it rip. I'm afraid of overgrowth. I think it's going to hurt agriculture. I think it's going to hurt our municipalities. I think it's going to hurt our green zones, our waterways, and I think it's going to degrade our aquifers. You have this artificial moratorium. Look, I don't want federal overreach. I do not want our state to become what we fought against, and I am more of a local and home rule person.
So what would your approach be?
I am more of a local and a home rule person than I am a state jumping in and preempting. My approach is exactly what we're doing as a state. Put laws in place, guardrails that protect our people, that protect our communities, and allow those cities and counties to make a decision. So one, zero power cost can be passed on to people. That is non-negotiable. If you can't show us that, we're not going to trust, we're going to verify, and if it's not fact, we're not going to let you build. That's what it should be. Two, water. Cooling is a huge issue, and the real issue here is hyperscale data centers. Data centers historically have been around since 1950 in some way, shape, or form. Hyperscale data centers can take the same amount of power and water as a city of 50 to 100,000 people, Jim. That's what has everyone up in arms. So zero power and water degradation. Do not damage our aquifers. Do not put crap out into the water that's going to harm our environment. We don't want that. We want to keep Florida what it is. Number three, and this is really something that's important to me. You cannot build a good business relationship if you have everything wrapped up in NDA. And it's not about the two parties, it's about the people. They deserve to know factually who's coming in, what it's going to look like, and the NDA can't hide the end customer for that data center. But the fourth thing is this, Jim. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I believe in local and home rule, but I also promise you if you lie, cheat, steal, dupe, or mislead people in our cities and counties, as a state, we are going to come and we're going to push you. We're going to fight and we're going to protect our people.
It's interesting hearing you talk about the importance of home rule. This legislature, for the past 4, 5, 6 years, has done everything to abolish home rule and to rule more from Tallahassee and tell localities, tell communities what they can and cannot do.
Right.
So I don't think there's a lot of trust there. But let me go to the one issue with it to power. You said that you want data centers not to cause an increase in utility rates, because that is a major concern.
It is.
Because they are such a drain on power supplies that they're afraid that it's going to cause the rates to go up. Byron Donalds says the answer to that is by allowing these companies to build their own mini nuclear reactors, in essence.
I think you probably got that talking point from me. I brought that up months ago.
So you agree with that too? We want the way to answer this is to have small
and micro, but we have to get the federal government to deregulate. Right now, the only place you can do those things is on federal reserves, like military installations. It's almost impossible to get nuclear through. That's a fact. I would love to inject SMRs and microreactors. There's some hope with...
a lot of concern out there from some people about the idea of just having private companies building small nuclear reactors all across the state.
Yeah, you have to protect our people, no doubt. But SMRs are not the nuclear facilities of old. We know that. The materials available, it's going to have a huge reduction in cost, and it's going to give a more balanced and safe grid. But let's go back to the point you made. I've been in politics for 4 years, Jim. I am far from a career politician. It rubs people raw that I'm even out here as lieutenant governor after 4 years, let alone running to be the next governor. I'm a leader. I'm a warrior. I protect our people. Things move in phases and cycles, and I'm not afraid to stand and protect our cities and counties, because ultimately, if we become what we fought against, we're going to invite the federal government to do the same thing to our state that we're doing to the cities and counties, and it's time to push back, give more autonomy, but we have to hold people accountable. Without accountability, nothing matters.
Jay Collins, I appreciate your coming in. Look forward
Jim,
to seeing how the election goes.
I appreciate
Take
you, my
care.
friend. Thank
All right,
you.
take care.